Hey, good evening, everyone. It's me again doing another live, as you can sort of tell. What I'm actually going to talk about today is, I do have a Master of Counselling, but I do counselling very different. And so I kind of was wanting to explore tonight about how I do things differently and why I do things differently. All right, to be able to help you become, the best to you, to have the relationship that you really want. Now, what ends up happening is that when we get into a relationship, we're kind of on a trajectory. So if this is us here, okay, there's you guys. We're kind of on this trajectory of here to our, happy ever after. This is the kind of the end of it, of what our happy ever after is. So we kind of journey along this road, and then all of a sudden, for some reason, whether it be we're trying to get a home, where the kids start coming in, where the work happens and so forth, then we get blown off this trajectory and into something else. And here's where we sort of come up here. All right. And so we start going into this level, and I sort of call this, oftentimes dysfunction. All right. ION. Okay, this is in dysfunction. And so therefore we start to have issues like, not being able to resolve issues and problems in our relationship. Our communication, where once we would talk for 5 hours and time would just go like this, now we're battling to get like 30 minutes in, and it feels like we're pulling teeth. All right. Do you get me? Do you understand me here? Yeah. All right. So this is where we get to. And then right at the top here, then, couples sort of almost wake up or get to, rock bottom, as it were, and go, hey, we've got to do something. We don't know what's going on. We don't know how to fix things. And how do we get to be this, this way? So when people come and see me, all right, I don't go back to this past here, right, to talk stuff, talk about the issues that sort of were on this path. Because usually when they're coming to see me, couples are very emotionally compromised. And if they've got an issue that brought them into counselling, then I usually sort of say, hey guys, can we just pin it? Just pin it. Because at the minute, you're too emotionally compromised to be able to even look at that. And then I sort of, say that, look, this is the trajectory you were on. And this would then, dysfunction that then perhaps leads to divorce or separation. What you need to then, sort of do as a couple is to create, right? And let's come down here to create a new relationship, right? And probably even better than here, right? To go farther. So we've got to create a new one, because this here is now no longer working. Can you sort of see that? Because we're sort of got into patterns of behavior that we're sort of doing it. And so I use education, because we've got to learn something new. And you've got the whole, the insanity definition of, if we do the same thing over and over again and expect a different outcome, then that is a sign of insanity. All right, because it's not going to happen, which is hence why we've got to create a new one. Now, people might sort of say, so this is why I developed, my Loving Me or Loving We program workbook, is because we've got to answer these sort of statements that in order to have an amazing we, you must have a strong sense of me. That's got to be the first and foremost. And that's what this sort of, book does. And, or the program does. But then, there might be some objections about, well, if we're not, the objection could be, well, we lack the exploration of deep diving into the issues of the past, and either or to the past or to the past traumas. Well, my answer to that is that we actually do go deep, but we go deep in a new direction, because the past, the hurt and the pain of the past is no longer serving you. Why would you want to go back to it when you've already lived it? All right. This is about building something new. This is about building on your existing strengths, because, man, if you got through trauma and past issues, you've got a lot of strength. And it's about using that strength, getting new resources to actually find solutions to the current problems. All right. So we've got to do that. So that's kind of one is that, perhaps lacking that exploration of the past. Well, if we're building something new, then we're doing new behaviors. We're learning new ways of relating to one another. And so right at the end of working with me, it sort of says, well, now you've got the newness happening of a new relationship and loving and everything like this. Then we can unpin that and then have a look. And 9 times 9.99 out of, sort of 10 is that this is now no longer valid, because the behaviors that led to that issue, that pain, is now no longer relevant because we've put new stuff in. So, also there is, some so people might sort of think that in learning, sort of education and so forth, it could be a lack of emotional processing. Well, when you process something, all right, you're going back into the past. And usually what I sort of say, if we're going back, we already have gone back to the past. Our thinking is past. Our default mind is negative. Yeah, you kind of see that. And so we've already been processing it. But the issue here is that emotions don't have solutions. They don't have solution, guys. And so if you're processing, to what end? If there's no solutions, to what end? We're just reliving and rehashing all the past all the time. And this is killing us. So how can you experience love, joy, and happiness when we keep processing the emotions of the past, the hurt, the betrayal, the misunderstandings, all these sort of things like this, and and we keep reliving them over again because we're processing them, right? These things will not happen if we learn new stuff. All right. It might sort of say, some people might sort of say that, perhaps, the program is superficial. Guys, it is not superficial. We go deep. We are changing neurological pathways. That's what we're changing, because all that past, emotional processing and thoughts of the past and things like this means that you are literally running up and down a trench, the trench of your negative past. All right. We've got to change that, because this is not serving you, right? And this is where oftentimes anxiety, major depression comes in, because we simply go back and just keep reliving the past, all right, and re-experiencing the pain of the past, all right? Because the fear might be that we're not delving deep into the root cause of things. Well, the root cause was in this dysfunction. And if you're building a new relationship, then the root cause doesn't exist anymore. Can you see that? Because we're building something new. So why go back to here when we're building something new? All right? Does that kind of make sense? Some people might be resistant to change. Well, guys, you've experienced pain. You've experienced suffering. Isn't it enough? Love yourself enough to say, you know what? Hell no. In order to leave the past behind and let it go, we have to change. We have to get new thoughts, new feelings, new understandings, new ways of thinking, and so forth, because otherwise we'll then get onto this dysfunction here and we'll end up having a miserable life. And guys, you only have one life. Let's live it to the fullest. Right? Let's live it to the amazing people that you are, and I know that you are. All right. So change is inevitable. If we're not changing, then we literally become a big stinky pond, because there's no new rains of experience and everything like this. So we just become this big stinky pond. And that's the choice that we do. Do you want to be a big stinky pond? Or do you want to be, a lake of, fertility and, and joy and laughter? All right, rather than being a big stinky pond. That's the choice. But also that, also in order to help us get out of that resistance to change, you've got to know your why, guys. Why are you in this relationship? All right, why are you in a relationship in the first place? Why not be single? What are you getting out of a relationship? But the more importantly, why each other? Okay. And where is this happy ever after? What does it look like? What does it feel like? And it's not looking at you guys up here in dysfunction. No, 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 no. It is about you guys looking at it when you were at your best. And what were you doing? How were you feeling? How were you relating to one another? Right? That becomes then your why, and that's what you're fighting for. But we just need some new tools, new strategies, new understandings, new ways of being, so that we can really help and support one another. And then you've got the role of communication, all right? And there is this story, and I've probably sort of said it before, but I'll sort of say it again, is that this guy was complaining about his wife to his best friend. He was complaining and sort of saying, my wife wants to talk about relationships. Isn't it enough that we're in a relationship? Why do we need to talk about it? And he ended up having an epiphany, which was very good for him. And he realized that the conversation is the relationship. It was the conversation, whether it be about the relationship, whether it be about hopes and dreams and goals and, what we're going to do and how we're going to do things and things like this. That is the role of communication. If you are not communicating with your partner, you are not in a relationship. Because how do you know one another? How do you know, the sort of the changes that are happening between one another and so forth? We then get misunderstandings. We get frustrated. We can get resentment. And it's like, do you really want that? So learning how to communicate is to, one, we got to stop the fighting. And that's usually my first session, is that we've got to stop the fighting. Either the fighting or the shutdowns. Two sides of the same coin. You're still in high emotion. That's the first thing. Then the second thing is that, learning how to effectively communicate, means that we can have mutual understanding and empathy for one another. And that is vital to our relationship success. If we're not communicating, then basically, guys, you're flatmates. And with flatmates, you're just sharing the expenses of the home, and that's about it. And it's like, well, you can have flatmates galore, but do you really want your relationship to be a flatmate experience? No. You want someone to share your life with you, to be that witness in your life, to share your ups and downs, to share your wins and your losses. Someone to walk beside you. all right, and to help carry the load that sometimes you're on as you help them carry theirs. Guys, I'm telling you, you can have the most amazing relationship like ever. You've just got to build a new one. And if we build a new one, we can get to our happier ever after. So I hope that is well. I hope that has helped a little bit. That I don't go back to the past issues, because it's about building something new, something you've never seen before, something that is a project that you can design, create, and then live it for the rest of your life. Okay, so guys, that's me. I will, catch you later on the next live. And if you've got any comments below, if you want to, really sort of get some more information about the Loving We program, please reach out to me. Direct message me, write it in the comment section, and let's get you on the right path, right? The right path to your happier ever after. Thanks, guys. Catch ya.